At the beginning of the season, many projected the Maple Leafs to finish dead last. Not Ron Wilson. He turned this club into one of the hardest working teams in the league, a team that leaves it out on the ice each and every night. One of the best in the West comes to town with some new blood in their lineup as they jockey for playoff position. The Leafs are going to have to give it all they've got tonight. Gorgeous night in Toronto. A good night for hockey as Stepniak and the Leafs try to bounce back from a tough loss to Tampa, but it is the Red Hot Flames, road weathered in town. Welcome everybody to the Air Canada Centre. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Nation pregame show presented by Tim Hortons. I'm Jody Vance. Good to see you. This is Joe Bowen. He will be on AM 640 Toronto Radio with the call tonight at 7 o'clock to call this Tilt. Mark Morrow, former Marlies captain, our hockey analyst, joins us, as well as our senior reporter, Paul Henrik. A lot to cover off on tonight's game. Some great storylines underlying here. Most notably, though, the Calgary Flames have been red hot this season, and they are coming into Toronto off an epic road trip. We'll get to all of that and much more, and it all begins with our headlines, brought to you by Ford, powered by you. Paul?
Jody, headline number one, Leaf growing pains. Part of the process as this team attempts to turn the corner eventually. Headline number two, deadline deal paying dividends for the Calgary Flames. And headline number three, Martin Brodeur Taiwan tonight with his 551st career win. Well, Joe, a tough loss for the Leafs here on Thursday night against Tampa Bay, but what are the positives that could be garnered from that loss and a few of the others this season as this team attempts to turn the corner sometime eventually?
Well, I think, Paul, one of the things that you had to take out of that game was the play of Martin Gerber, and whether he's auditioning for another team or whether he's auditioning for Brian Burke and a position with the Maple Leafs next year, I thought his game was above average, and certainly it has been since he's arrived in Toronto. They've had some difficulty scoring goals, and since the trade deadline with the loss of Dominic Moore and Nick Antropov, for whatever reason, that offense has dried up a little bit. And so when you don't score 3 goals in this league, not many good things usually happen. So that's usually the turning point of the whole game, is you got to score 3 on the offensive side of the ledger. And they haven't been able to do that. But I think the young kids, again, it's growing pains. They're going to be making mistakes. It was a game that they want to file away and try and come back tonight.
And when you talk about the young kids, sorry, I just wanted to point out that I think one of the biggest things, too, is besides the offense drying up, is consistency is a big factor with a lot of these young guys. And over the course of the season, you've got to learn to be consistent in all aspects of the game, whether it's the checking part, the defensive part, or the offensive part, and you're going to have peaks and valleys, and that's a big part of this process. A lot of these guys are going to have great highs throughout the course of the season. A lot of them have already had that, but then there's going to be the low moments where they're going to make those mental mistakes. They're going to have those learning curves that they have to undergo, and they're going to be a better team in the long run because of that once they get through this process.
Well, I'll just elaborate on both of what you've said. They have indeed struggled offensively. In fact, only 8 goals over the course of their last 5 games. And as Joe said, trades and injuries have certainly challenged this team. With more, let's talk with forward Matt Stajan.
Matt, there's also been a lot of talk lately about playing for pride. But when you have games where you lose, I mean, what do you do to bounce back? Obviously, there's still disappointment in the air.
Yeah, we know we got to be better than we have been this past week. We have a great challenge tonight with Calgary coming in, try and steal 2 points from them. They're going for a division title, and it's a Canadian team, so there's going to be excitement in here, and we have a lot of pride in here, and we got to make sure that we're going hard and doing everything we can to win tonight.
Is that fueled as well and easy to bounce back when you have the young guys in here and you know that they're playing not only just out of excitement, but hard work is paying off for them and wanting to get contracts as well for next year?
Yeah, I think everybody talks about, we still, want to win every game and try and creep us up in the stands as much as we can. But at the same time, as a team, you want to play for each other and work hard. We all work our whole lives to make the NHL and play for the Toronto Maple Leafs here. You're not going to give anything but your best. And if you're not doing that, you don't deserve to be in this league, no matter what's at stake. And I think that everybody in this room, older guys, veterans, or the younger guys, got to realize that. And I think we're going to really come together tonight and put a good effort in.
Well, we're going to need it against this guy, Olli Jokinen, acquired on deadline day. What an acquisition. And Joe, in position now to make the playoffs for the first time in his 11-year National Hockey League career.
That in itself is unbelievable. We're going to talk about Patrick Roy's record and everything else, but Guy Charron probably is the one guy that's gone, oh no, he's going to make it this year. Now I'm going to get it back again. But so Guy Charron never did play a playoff game in his entire career. And that included one year with Montreal when they didn't make the playoffs for the first time in about 7 decades. But certainly Ole Jokinen is a big-time offensive threat. Getting back together again with Mike Keenan has probably been a very beneficial thing for not only him but the Calgary Flames, because it was under Keenan's thumb that Jokinen really developed in Florida to be a dominant offensive player. It may have been the biggest acquisition at the trade deadline of any team in the NHL.
Ole Jokinen has produced 5 consecutive seasons of at least 26 goals. He'll play on Calgary's top line tonight between Ginla and Camilleri, and he told us earlier today why the trade to Calgary has been such a good one.
You know, first of all, get a chance to play for a good team, and you know, I think it's you know, I never been in the playoffs, so you know, it's a good chance to be there this year and go far. You know, I have a good relationship with Mike, and I probably play my best hockey under him. So it's good to get the chance to play for his team again, and you know, it's been a lot of fun.
5 goals in 5 games. Did it surprise you how comfortable you'd fit in right away, or you knew this would be how it would be?
Yeah, you know, I think there's still a lot of room to improve, and you know, I think that my game and our team game is going to get better the longer we play together, and but you know, playing with the great players, you're going to get a lot of chances, and you know, but I don't really think about those goals or points. You know, all that matters now it's just stay in the first place in the division and win some hockey games.
Headline number 3, Martin Brodeur can tie Patrick Roy as the all-time leader in career wins with his 551st in Montreal tonight. Mark Morrow, do you think he is the best that has ever been between the pipes?
In my lifetime, I certainly think so. I mean, Patrick Roy was a phenomenal goaltender, but just the fact that we're simply even talking about this right now on a Leaf pregame show, that he's going after this record, that this record is even going to be attainable, is simply incredible. He's got that unique style that is all himself. He's not necessarily a stand-up. He's not necessarily a butterfly. But when you look at those numbers, and he's at the peak of his career, there's more to go here. I don't think he's finished by any margin. He could be at 700 wins by the time this is all said and done. And so you have to really appreciate that what he's done, and he's done it as a complete iron horse, continually playing in 70-plus seasons year after year until this year when he got injured for the first time. And I think that may add a few years to his career because of it.
Well, you can also argue that through the course of his career, he's played in a pretty good system with some great defensemen in front of him, Joe. We'll also look at the fact that when it comes to playing against Montreal, the kid from St. Leonard, Quebec, has always managed to play very well, and he's got some history that involves his dad as a team photographer as well.
Yeah, and maybe the most significant aspect of tonight's game is that St. Patrick of Roy has come down from the mountain with his tablets to actually be there to possibly anoint the new, at least, tie of the record. But you know what? It is an amazing record, and the whole aspect of this, there were 2 records I never thought would be broken. The shutout record of 103, that's going to go, and possibly this year as well. The one that will never be broken is Glenn Hall's 502 consecutive games in goal, because if you get anywhere close to 500, they're going to make you play the last 2 without a face mask the way Glenn Hall did. And that will end anybody's idea of being stupid to do that. But Patrick Roy was a tremendous goaltender, great competitor, but Martin Brodeur, I agree with you, is the best of all time.
Mr. Bowen, as always, thank you for being here for segment number 1.
Even though I had to work with Hendrick.
That's okay. We apologize for that again. We'll send you upstairs, and everybody listen for Joe on AM 640 Toronto Radio. Puck drop at 7 o'clock tonight, of course. Much more to come on the big show, including the morning story with Andy Petrillo, who is standing outside the Toronto Maple Leafs room. And we will hear from the coach of the Flames, Iron Mike Keenan, speaks right after a quick break on Molson Canadian Leaf Nation pregame show presented by Tim Hortons. Stick around, everybody. Lots more ahead.